Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to the Series 10 Awards Ceremony Special. Yay, because obviously I like to make my awards into separate episodes now, because I've noticed a lot of people might just not watch the episodes if they're connected to the main episode, or just as a bonus episode. So joining me once again is Tentijester.
Hi guys!
And he is deciding all these awards.
I am the no Sharky today.
You are. I've given you all these things in advance. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Unlucky 13 awards. Really only 12 of them are decided because one's an obvious one off the bat. But 12 of them have been decided by Owain. And I guess that's all we need to know.
And you're deciding the final award, remember?
What was that, sorry?
You're deciding the final award, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's cool. I mean, I asked you to decide these awards mainly because you've been sort of my mini-sode guy. And not for the first episode, obviously, but from then on in, spoilers and all, you've been there with me.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's time to get into the awards then. I haven't got a jingle.
I'm trying to get a jingle up, the YouTube's loading slowly.
I do have a drum roll, so I guess I could just use these pens. There you go. I use that as my really shit drum roll, because why not? Anyway, the first award goes to the most outdated robot of Series 10. And this is the only one that was really no-brainer, because it's Traction.
Yeah.
It's obvious, really.
It was a Series 3 robot.
It was a Series 3 robot in the Series 10 world. It was basically half the robots of Series 7 and 5 in Series 10. And it's not a bad robot, it's not terrible, it's boring to a degree, but it's not terrible. It's understandable why it's like it is, because of the way it's come from, its students and stuff, but it's ironic, because I remember at the beginning of the series making a joke saying Will Thomas has made a robot so his students won't be able to beat him. And look at how far they got. So...
to this day, it remains one of the luckiest robots in Robot Wars history. 2 matches.
I mean, nothing gets luckier than Napalm, though.
Yeah. Sorry about that, the sound effect went off a bit too early then. But it won 2 matches without doing anything.
Yeah, pretty much, and one was very spectacular, and one didn't even happen.
Yeah.
But it's still an outdated robot. The team are great. I mean, I hope they come back with something new and try, improve on it. But I don't have no problem with having a tracked robot on Robot Wars. It's more a case of making it better than this.
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of really good track robots in the past. Look at 101 and Slicer.
101, Slicer, Mortis to a degree, and hell, Trax wasn't that bad. So yeah, there have been okay track robots. It's more a case of just making it good. So. Yep, always encouraged into the future. I got a comment from one of the guys from Traction, which was pretty cool, on my preview video, which was really nice to see, actually. So,
that.
I mean, he was joking, saying, "Oh, I mean, making fun of our robot, but it's fine." I was like, "Yeah, I know, I was joking about it. It's all fun." So, yeah, Traction unfortunately has to win the most outdated robot award, and it's only first because it's the only one that isn't decided really. But now the 12 awards are now for deciding to the lovely Owain here. So, the second award is the most destructive robot. There's a lot of these robots are very obvious in their category because, they cause most destruction in the series. There's no doubt about it. The nominees are Carbide, because it's Carbide. Come on. Concussion for giving the kegs a whole new lease on life in the pub. Magnetar for ripping open push to exit and just ripping open expulsion, and then almost ripping over rapid, and almost ripping open Behemoth. And then of course Nuts 2 for getting the most precision hits of the entire series, and definitely would win the John Reed No Scope Award for the best hit, the John Reed Pussycat Award for the best hit of a series.
The MLG 420 No Scope John Reed Award.
Definitely, yeah, it was a good hit. Air horns. But of course, there can only be one winner, and Owain has decided the winner is...
Yeah, and the winner is... Carbide!
Yay! A relatively obvious choice. I mean, Nuts 2 was definitely more precision hits than destructive. Magnetar was more subtle damage, and Concussion really just blew up a wooden robot base with a metal keg on it.
If you want further proof, just look at what happened to Gabriel and Rapid after their encounters.
Look at Gabriel, look at Aftershock, look at Eruption the first time they hit them. And yeah, Rapid was the biggest example of a robot being destroyed in the series. That was properly built. So, it was, yeah, that seems a relatively obvious choice, but Carbide deserves the win. Definitely, I probably agree with that, hands down. The next award is the most disappointing robot award. Not every robot is made equally, and not every robot can succeed. There's always going to be a loser, there's always going to be a robot that doesn't meet the expectations that they were given out. And, of course, it is a shame that someone has to be in here. But there we go. I've added an extra cat robot in here just to spice it up, but I don't think it'll change too much. The nominations are Hobgoblin. Anton is slowly crying in a pool of his own tears right now because Eruption won the series and Hobgoblin lost again.
Isn't the only person we know who actually cries grains of salt?
Yeah, I think he's literally the only person who cries the saltiest tears possible. Apex, self-destructing, and breaking the arena wall in 4 seconds in its first appearance and just not working the rest of the time properly after one hit from traction and one hit from Terrorite breaking its weapon.
Yeah, I never saw that guitar blade that was proper...
Nah, we never saw it do anything good. Push to exit, a great looking robot, really fast, actually got a flip in this time that meant something. But once again, out of control, weak in terms of stability and just got ripped open.
That was one of our fellow guests behind the scene as well.
Of course. Vulture looked promising, looked kind of unique, but then really didn't do anything in its entire heat and ended up dying without even having a third place playoff fight. So, and of course Iron Ore 6, because we wanted to see that flipper do something, and it did nothing the entire series thanks to radio issues, which was, considering it was considered the kind of the prototype for robots like Eruption and Apollo. The format actually won the series. It's a shame we didn't get to see it do anything. But, who is the winner for this robot? The most disappointing goes to...
Iron Ore 6!
There's a shocker! I mean, Iron Ore 6 was such a shame.
I told Mike that this was going to be a fantastic flipper robot.
It's amazing. It looks amazing. It's, again, sort of prototype of flippers that we have now. Not the granddaddy of flippers, as it was kind of slightly misinformed in the heat, but still, in terms of the actual modern flipper, it's the kind of predecessor. Yeah, again, because of radio issues, it did nothing, and it was such a shame it ended up getting to the Rumble sort of unfairly when Tauron and Androne could have been much better competitors in comparison.
To be fair, what could have Androne done in that Rumble?
It would have done more than Iron Ore 6, I'll say that. It would have done a lot more. I mean, its weapon worked for a start. And again, seeing Tauron then would have been quite cool as well. But, oh well, they've got Tauron Mark III, and I'm sure hopefully we'll see Androne again. But, yeah, that is of course Iron Ore 6 for the most disappointing. Now the most forgettable robot. Again, not every robot's made equally, but not every robot is remembered equally either. And some robots, despite having some promise, just never did anything in their heats, or just ended up doing things too late and not saving themselves. The nomination...
This is, I actually forgot who I picked to win until I read this list.
Well, you'll hear the nominations, you probably remember then. The nominations are Hobgoblin again, because, yeah, did it do anything? Apart from break Shunt's axe, did it actually do anything on its own?
It stunt and then died.
Yeah, Crackers and Smash, because apart from having a good moment in the series, which we'll get to with that award, they just didn't actually do anything themselves. They just kind of wandered around the arena and got hit by everything. Apocalypse, a dark horse for the series, I thought, ended up having one good show against Sabretooth and then, yeah, doing nothing. It didn't last very long. And actually Sabretooth themselves, because despite their awesome appearance in the Rumble, in their actual heat, the weapon didn't work at all. It worked a few times when it needed to, but that was really it. And it just, I don't know, compared to the last series, while it was harder for it to, much easier for it to be invertible in this series, I thought it just looked a bit too generic in comparison to some of the appearances had in the past, but I guess it's more of a good design choice. But the winner of this award for the most forgettable robot of Series 10 is...
Apocalypse.
Yeah, Apocalypse. I mean, hell, in our retrospective, Apocalypse was the last robot we talked about because we originally forgot it existed in this series. I mean,
I had such high hopes for this robot. I really wanted it to succeed.
Yeah. The sad thing about Apocalypse is it didn't help in its favour. Not in its favour, in fact, its design wasn't out there. It was a box with 2 grabbers and an axe. It was, I mean, it's cool looking, but it's not memorable, I guess, in comparison. But
just what could have been.
What it couldn't do anything. It didn't do anything in its first fight, and it actually tried in the second fight, but then got unlucky against Sabretooth. So, yeah, poor Apocalypse. What are you gonna do? Best Design Award. Now I have 2 design awards in this: Best Design and Best Aesthetic Design, because I feel how a robot looks versus how a robot is designed to be good is different. So I'm separating out the 2 categories. So the Best Design robot in terms of functionality, the nominations are Rapid for being the 30 grand robot that actually did a lot better this time than it did last series. So still well designed though. Thor for just being a slightly upgraded version of last series, but still having a very sleek design and genuinely great, even if the CO2 seemed to come out of it very easily. Aftershock, being your standard spinny disc robot, but honestly definitely having a very good effectiveness with it, just very shame to make it into the Robot Rumble. And Big Nipper for the Crusher slash spinner combination, able to self-right, nice, good design on the arm, and just being a generally effective robot. So the best designer robot goes to...
There it is. Big Nipper.
Whoa! Big Nipper was a surprise to me, because I liked Big Nipper, but in Series 8 they didn't really do as much as they could have. In Series 10, wow. They came back firing.
I suppose this is sort of like bias as well, because you know what, Big Nipper is one of my favourite robots.
It's also the only good robot to come from Lancashire, my county, so... You know, the second best robot is Cedric Slammer, and then it's Megahertz LT, so the quality drops quite quickly. But it was a very well-designed robot, and it's still one of the most original robots this day. The grabbing crusher with the arm was just never done in that particular way before and since, because no one wants to copy Big Nipper. It's just a great design.
Won it 2 championships in the live circuit.
It made an impression even in Series 5 when it almost broke Razor's self-right on one side. So it's always been there since the beginning, since Series 5, and just being a force to be reckoned with. And close in Series 7 to the Grand Series semi-finals as well.
I leave it beat Grim Reaper, but we'll get to that eventually.
I agree, but yeah, that's a future conflict. Best aesthetic. Now, the best aesthetic design goes to a robot that might not function the best, but looks amazing. I should call this the I should call this the Death Warmed Up Award. For a robot looks so great, but is absolutely either useless or not meant, or that's not the main selling point. The selling point is the design. The nominations go to Gabriel for the giant fucking wheels, which was amazing against Carbide. The rest of the robot was fine and definitely didn't do as much damage as it could have this series, but it was very nice to see them actually perform as they wanted to against spinners. Bucky the robot, I mean, it's a giant pair of chattering teeth. How else can you say no to that? Tauron, because last series, while it was bulky and a bit boxy, this time it's very sleek, very nice looking, and had a very powerful spinner on it. And Coyote, because Coyote is still a beautiful looking robot. The steampunk design's great, the clocks on the grabber, and of course the pipes, which don't do anything but just act as cannon fodder armour, but are still brilliant to look at. But who is the winner of the best aesthetic design? The winner is...
Bucky!
Oh, good choice. Good choice. Bucky is amazing. I mean...
I really couldn't give it to anyone else.
I mean, there's so many things going into design. I mean, competitively, this robot's one of the worst in the series. But in terms of just being a good robot and looking great, and also the fact that the mechanism they used to keep the jaws locked was a turning clockwork key. Just beautiful. The aesthetics was brilliant on this robot, and the mask got made up for it as well.
Yeah.
It'll stare into your soul forever. Now speaking of the Bucky team, actually they're also in the next category for the Best Team Award, because sometimes you just want to see a great team be a great team, and we're talking about the ones that brought a lot of heart to the series, or just made the series a lot more entertaining. And we have 4 nominations here. The nominations are Apex, because Craig Danby is awesome. Even if they tried to push Craig Danby too much as the actual leader, he's still, at the end of the day, it's still Craig Danby, so he's always charismatic. Bucky again, because, come on, you can't have that mascot and not put him as one of the best teams of the series. Push to exit, mainly for Anthony and Stephen, of course. But, of course, Swanee's still great. But their banter, their over-the-top antics, their shoe throwing, it was good. It was a delight. And Donald Trump, because James wearing that hat with the really great mannerisms and impression of Donald Trump was just perfect and brought a good bit of satire to the show that we didn't think we wanted, but we did. And when we got it. But, of course, the winner of the Best Team Award goes to...
Push to exit.
Push to exit.
It was Apex, but upon further reflection, I had to give it to Push to exit.
They were a joy to watch. I'm going to point out something that Anderson told me, that he said he found Steven's stuff a little bit cringy. No, it's not. It was great. Yeah. It was absolutely perfectly timed. I mean, Nancy would do these bits as well, but Steven was the real star of the show. I mean, having... Not just saying that because he's a mate of mine, but generally had the best lines. You had robot tears, throwing the shoe, crying over their loss, furiously pushing the button when it didn't work. He was always
Disneyland because he lost to expulsion.
Was it, sorry?
And then going to Disneyland because he lost to expulsion.
Yeah, the saddest man at Disneyland. But again, Swanee and Swanee and Anthony. Also great as well. Swanee's always great. Didn't have his hammer this time, but you know what, he was still there with his little dog pictures. And Anthony obviously is a great guy, or Jim, as he likes to call me. I'm gonna get some of that on this week. But yeah, Push to Exit win the awards quite well. The Best Moment award. Now this goes to that little part of the series where you just go, holy shit, that was awesome. And then, to be fair, every heat had something, but you've got to narrow it down a bit. We have 4 nominations here. The nominations are Smash getting smashed right into the arena and right into the ceiling and breaking a few lights by Big Nipper throwing them away. Hobgoblin breaking Shunt's axe, because it was the only thing Hobgoblin did in the entire heat, so at least got to remember that. Apex just exploding all over the place and throwing its bar like a hissy fit after one little bump against Traction. And Behemoth winning against Apollo in its heat, because, god damn it, Behemoth after 19 years finally deserved that win, and in a very sneaky way of flipping him into the pit was a very good way to do it, and one of the best heat finals of the series. But, of course, who is the winner? The winner is...
the winner is... Behemoth wins a heat.
Woo! Because otherwise we wouldn't have got to see him come joint third in the series.
It was 19 years in the making. It was such a feel-good moment for the entire Robot Wars community, not just for Anthony, because we've always wanted to see Behemoth do well, but they never do.
And now they have.
And now they finished third in the 10th Wars.
And now they're not going to appear again. Oh well, enjoy them while they last. Now they have the best KO. Some of these can be best moments, but honestly, the best KO goes to that robot that just takes out their opponent in the most flashy way. We have 5 nominations for this one. The nominations go to Rapid, flipping Traction out of the arena in about 6 seconds, if that. Traction beating Apex, technically, after the explosion. Eruption, flipping out Aftershock, and it bouncing on the arena wall and breaking it. Magnetar bodying Expulsion and having him flip onto the arena flipper and kill itself. And Apollo just launching Rubber Duck almost into the ceiling. Gotta be a really good one. But of course, who is the winner? The winner is...
And the winner is... Apollo flips that Rubber Duck.
It was a gifable moment. I mean, there's a gif of it almost instantly after the episode aired. Seeing that tiny little 20-kilogram robot getting launched that high into the air and out of the arena was expected but satisfactory, to say the least.
I am slightly disappointed you did not put Big Nipper takes out Smash in the nominee, but of all the nominees that you did give me to choose from, I can't argue that much.
It's a very good one. I mean, I was tempted to put it, but then I guess I thought, I don't know, I just forgot really. But it's definitely, we'll call it a secondary honourable mention in that particular moment as well. The best newcomer, of course. We didn't have as many newcomers as last series, but at the same time, we definitely got a good roster of them. Some doing well, some not, like Traction. Spoilers, Traction is not in this nomination. But the teams are great. Team was great in that sense, as I said. But these are 4 robots that made their impact, either in the arena or outside the arena, that just truly shone. The nominations are the Swarm. While technically not a new team, it's a completely new robot after Orte and Bigger Brother and Big Brother. When you get, of course, the Swarm with basically Blender doing most of the work, but the other 3 having a lot of personality, and generally just being a nuisance to most of the robots, but having a really fun time doing it, and would be a shame not to see him in the 10 Robot Rumble, honestly. Bucky the Robot for its 3rd nomination. Honestly, just one of the most fun robots ever. Gone over it a million times. It's a great robot, great team, and yep, Androme 4000. One of the strongest newcomers in the series, mainly because they were fearless, they were bold, they went straight into the robots, they beat Tauron in a very close battle, and they just generally had the balls to just go in there as a newcomer. Most newcomers tend to be a bit more fearful of the veterans. These guys were straight in, which I admire. And Donald Thump, because James is awesome once again. And we got some satire again. But who is the winner of the best newcomer? Let's find out. The winner is...
And the winner is... Androne 4000.
There was absolutely no other winner I would have picked, personally, because while the other 3 were very comedic and fun, Androme 4000 was the most promising newcomer of the entire series, and honestly, they should have been in the 10 Robot Rumble over Ionor, but...
It was definitely a fantastic first effort.
Yes, and I want to see the team come back and try again.
And I will say this, it's the 2nd best claw robot we ever had in the award.
Yes, definitely. It was... I mean, I wrote this thing off as kind of... Yeah.
It was a brilliantly driven robot, especially for a 2-wheel robot from a first-timer team, as well as having one of the best matches in the series with Tauron.
And very aggressive as well, like I said. They just went straight into the thick of everything, and even got a nice hold on Concussion, good battle against Tauron, and also having a bit of his guts spilled out against Nuts too. So they got a full roster. They got the full roster of experience in Robot Wars, having the highs and the lows, and they definitely should come back next time. I implore them to come back again. It was worth it.
Yeah, come on, guys, we love you. Come back.
I want Androme 4000 in a bit, or 4001. Come on, make it. Give it 1 extra PSI of crushing power. And then most improved robot. Of all, you have to cover the newcomers, but he's the robots that have come back again and just wowed us with the amount of experience they've actually gained over the years and improved the robot from the previous series. Nominations are Nuts 2. While they had the similar technology in Series 9, they didn't really get a chance to use it thanks to their unfortunate wires coming loose and them breaking and not able to go on one wheel. And
flung out by Matilda.
Yeah, Magnetar, with 2 generations of Pulsar, whilst having success, not really being reliable, finally having Magnetar win its heat solidly, and having a good effort in the grand final, it was enough to put this on the spot. Big Nipper, we saw it, while I always love Big Nipper in Series 8, it was not very effective. In Series 10, its spinner did damage. Its claw, while we only saw it in the Rumble, definitely had some good lifting power against Apollo and stuff.
It took out the feared Aftershock.
Yes, and also surplexing Apollo was a plus. And just again, it's always one of the best designed robots, so you know, that is something. And then finally, of course, we have Tauron, because last year it didn't do anything. This time they actually, while they did lose in the playoffs, they still managed to make an impression, and we're looking at Mark III. They have a good chance of improving once again. But who is the winner of the most improved robot? Let's find out. The winner is...
And the winner is... It was a close one, but Nuts 2.
Yes, my pick as well, honestly, because Nuts 2, again, it was so feared by Carbide, they had to protect Carbide from Nuts 2. That's how far we've come, people.
It was so close between Nuts 2 and Big.
It was close, but I would have gone for Nuts 2 just for the... Going from a joke robot on Series 8 to a robot that's genuinely feared by competitors.
Yeah.
Is an improvement in itself, I think. And I wish more Rory, Alex, all the best. It was amazing. The penultimate award for the best engineered robot. Robots that in the inside are more better than the outside sometimes, and they've got to take into account that these efforts the roboteers put in their robots need to be acknowledged. The nominations are Magnetar again, because Ellis is a self-taught engineer, he's amazing, his robots look beautiful, but never been too reliable, but Magnetar pushed it to the edge and was very well improved.
It's so compact you can't even fit your hand in there.
No, it's. I think Sam said that. Some robots you can fit your hand in, he couldn't fit his hand in there at all. Rapid, again. Rapid is a robot that is still well engineered, over-engineered in Series 9, but in Series 10 at least was able to survive a bit longer, and survived long against Magnetar, and compared to last series where it killed itself against Aftershock, so that was very good. Thor's a great robot as well for engineering. It's always been a great designed robot and also a great engineered robot, so that's why he's in both the categories for nominations. And Gabriel, because being the most effective thwack bot in ages is always a plus, and also the plastic wheels made it so well designed. But who's best engineered robot? The winner is...
And the winner is... Gabriel!
Woo! Oh, we didn't see too much from Gabriel, but their engineering skills from the Colliers family is something to be admired. I definitely agree.
It's my favourite black bot in the entire series, old and new.
It's amazing. How can we pick it over Magnetar or Rapid by just wondering?
The best engineered I-Class is both inside and outside. And the inside is fantastic for a thwack bot and show fantastic drive and control. And on the outside, the high resistance plastic armor reflecting all those carbide hits.
Good choice. And then, of course, finally,
close between Gabriel and Magnetar.
Fair enough. But of course, the Best Fight Award is the most coveted because, you know what, there's been so many great fights in the series. There actually are 6 nominations for this award, all of which are legitimately great fights, and 2 of which have been added because of the grand final alone. That's how good it was. So the nominations are Apollo versus Behemoth, one of the best heat finals of this entire series and of the entire reboot series. 2 closely fought robots, with eventually Apollo getting pitted by a Behemoth in a very sneaky tactic, but very effective. And it was a very close fight until that point, and a very worthy winner in Behemoth. Rapid versus Terahertz, the other great heat final of the series. While Rapid definitely was more dominating than in the Apollo and Behemoth match, Terahertz still got some good hits in. It survived for a long time, and Rapid just had the better upper hand on the robot, really. Carbide, Gabriel, and Big Nipper. While Big Nipper was more of a non-entity in this particular battle, it was the Gabriel and Carbide fight we were looking at the most, and Gabriel's survivability, actually KOing Big Nipper slightly, and also lasting a full 3 minutes of Carbide, while also having its tyre ripped off, was amazing fight, and honestly was such a great display from Gabriel. Androme 4000 versus Tauron, the playoff match, to decide who was going to stay in the heat. It was a close one. Some people say it should have gone one way, some should have gone the other. Tauron were very unlucky, but Androme 4000 with better control and aggression made it in the end. Carbide versus Eruption, the grand final. Oh boy, one of the greatest grand finals ever, and showed that the Eruption can, if it goes on full head first, can survive Carbide and outlive it. And then finally Nuts 2, Carbide, and Behemoth. Once again, Behemoth was sort of a non-entity by mostly just taking Carbide's hits. Nuts 2 taking out Carbide and the Minibot almost KOing them, and then having the Minibot make them run away. One of the funniest moments of the entire series. But who is going to win the coveted prize of the best fight of Series 10? The winner is...
winner is... I thought you were picking the winner.
And I thought, I'm picking a winner. Ooh. Well, in that case, it has to go for it has to go to the grand final. Come on, Carbide versus Eruption. It was bloody amazing. Wouldn't you agree?
It was. It was. I'd say it was the best grand final fight we've ever had.
It was. It was close. It was tense. It had Carbide on the ropes again. It didn't go the same way as the 3 previous fights against Eruption, where Eruption would either get bodied and then wheel would get stuck, or the flipper would get mangled, or the whole robot would get destroyed. It went completely opposite. It took damage, but it didn't get damage enough to kill it, and the flipper was still working properly, and Carbide was running away and smoking. So it was a great back and forth fight. The Carbide winning the first half, and Eruption definitely winning the second half.
It was a very fitting final for a very good series.
If this is the last series of the entire run, I'm glad we ended on this fight. And the Christmas special. But, yes, this was our award ceremony. Good choices from Owain, I will say. Some surprising choices. I thought Apex was going to win Best Team Award until Push to Exit appeared. But, well, you said originally you were going to put Apex, and then you changed your mind to Push to Exit.
Yeah.
Some obvious choices like In Pocket that's most forgettable, and Nuts 2 for most improved, although Magnetar was very close. And same with Engineered Award. But, yes, this was a very good set of choices. Thank you, Owain.
And thank you for having me on the minisodes.
Brilliant. Of course, you'll be joining me from podcast. The next one you'll be joining me for is the Annihilator of Extreme 1. So that should be pretty cool. There's a new Extreme episode coming out this week on Thursday, where I'll have both AS Tex, Anthony and Stephen, and Mr. Psycho, Mike. So that'll be an interesting episode. We have Draven, we have Thermidor flipping both the robots out of the arena, and of course we have the stupid Armed Forces special fight in quotes.
That was never a fight.
It was never a fight, no. But thank you for joining me once again. These are the award ceremonies. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
And I'm the Tentijester saying, help! Help! Get me out of here! Get me out of here! He's got me captive!